Welcome everyone to the AEW Rewind podcast. My name is Shawn Vaughn.
I'm Justin Bradley.
And this was a good episode of Dynamite to kind of come off of All Out.
I really liked this episode, man. A lot from start to finish, it flew by for me. Obviously, there was the huge debut, as we'll get into. And honestly, the main event wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. And overall, a lot of storylines kept moving forward. They did a really good job of that.
Yeah, they did a good job talking about the whole feud. What kind of feud, the story between the Hangman, the Bucks, and Omega.
I don't know. Somehow they keep doing little kind of. We'll get into it, but they keep doing little like advancements in the feud, even though you think they can't do that anymore. They just got to flip the switch, and somehow it's working. So.
So the show opens up with a promo, more like an interview with Tony, where it's Jericho and MJF together.
Yeah, so Tony's sitting there and two SUVs, I think, pull up right in front of each other. Park, they get
Escalades, maybe.
Escalade, yeah. And do you want me to say basically they were word. I don't know how to explain it, but they were it's okay, everything will be good because they both had big losses on All Out. And they both go their separate ways and basically both say under their breaths they're idiot, they hate both of each other. So that was a terrible way of explaining it. I'm sorry, but I didn't know how to explain that any better.
Yeah, though I would have to say that seeing Jericho and MJF together on TV is money.
And we all know how good MJF is, and then Jericho's just he's the demo god, so there's a reason why he's called that. Yeah, man, the first time we really saw them in the ring together was when they were making fun of Cody Rhodes, and they both were like, are you joining the Inner Circle? And then MJF was like, well, Chris, do you want me to join the Inner Circle?
Yeah, that was a long time ago.
A long time ago, obviously before pandemic. And then at the end of that, they're like, one person I hate, and then, or what I hate, and they both said Cody Rhodes or whatever, which was funny.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this was kind of a same thing as that, where they kind of both did the same things, and then they went off and said the same exact things about each other.
I feel like they could eventually do a long thing between Jericho and MJF, but they really just want to hold out on it.
That's why they only wait for the fans.
That's why I feel like they've only whenever they have had MJF and Jericho on the same time, it's always in a very small capacity.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't know how the ring work would be. We've kind of seen Jericho not being able to wrestle well against, I think they could make it work for sure. So
I think this one I could think would work pretty well, just for the fact that MJF wrestles more like a grapple style than what Orange Cassidy was doing.
Yeah, for sure. They have a bright future with MJF. We say this all the time, and this would just elevate. I'm sure, Chris always says he has these projects in AEW that he likes to do, and obviously the recent one with Orange Cassidy, and I'm sure MJF is not too far down the line here. I mean, obviously they teased it, so they do with this in the future, but I don't think it's going to be it might, because MJF's in action next week. We'll talk about that. I don't think they're going to do this right now.
Yeah, that's what I don't think they're gonna do it right away either. But next on the show, they have the Jurassic Express versus Lucha Bros.
And this was a great match. We say it's classic, classic wrestler match, classic wrestler promo. But this was literally, Lucha Bros, their style against Jurassic Express style, and they work so well together. High flying spots, just really good together.
Yeah, it was both of them using their styles against each other in their best ways that they can.
Yeah, and trying to think of any crazy spots that I saw. I mean, Phoenix is always doing some crazy stuff.
Of course, like what Phoenix does. I'm pretty sure Phoenix at one point caught Jungle Boy diving to the outside at one point.
And then he flipped him around, and then, or no, yeah, that happened, and then I think he got pushed out by Penna, Pentagon, and then he got super kicked in the stomach from Phoenix on the way down to the ground, which looked like brutal. Also, I think Luchasaurus chokeslam like Phoenix on his head at one point.
Though Jurassic Express does get the win in this match, which is big because they set up what happens later in the night.
Yeah, so what happened was they got the win because Lucha Bros did their own finisher to themselves. Jungle Boy came in and got the pin. That set up.
And also at one point that Jungle Boy was able to kick out of the Lucha Bros finish.
Oh yeah, that was good too. They're really building up Jungle Boy because if you
They
remember,
really are.
He's another big star in the making.
I mean, they've always been pushing Jungle Boy in these like small fashions, but like I feel like they've really been starting to do it now ever since they were going against the Young Bucks.
I'd imagine the TNT title is gonna be, what he gets his hands on first.
Probably,
I think
or maybe the tag title.
Yeah, I think that's where he should go because I don't think he's a main event. And I don't think many people do either, but he can be for sure. He's not too great on the mic that we know of, so to work on some stuff like that. He's a bright future ahead of him. Luchasaurus was great. And the crowd, I mean, today, I don't know what the weather was down in Florida, but the crowd was active all night. This was the loudest I've seen the crowd.
I mean, they did point out a lot. I feel like in this episode that at All Out, like the temperature was like really bad. They pointed out a few times on the show.
Way better because this is the loudest I've heard the crowd. This is the loudest crowd I've heard since the pandemic, honestly.
Yeah, they were really loud on this episode, and they have been in any of the other episodes that they had a small capacity crowd.
They were chanting Luchasaurus. I mean, they were chanting stuff for all the matches all night. It seemed like it was great. And obviously, they had the huge pop for the best man, which we'll get into here. But yeah.
So we have up next is actually after the match there is starting to some disillusions going on within this heel group that's been being led by Eddie Kingston.
There has been, but this time it was between Penta and Phoenix, and I was like, oh yes, because if anybody doesn't know, like they're great singles wrestlers, and if they had a feud against
tag team.
other,
yeah, they're a great tag team, but they're maybe even better as singles competitors sometimes.
And they've wrestled each other before, but like it's incredible. Like their matches whenever they wrestle each other are incredible. So if they were to go off on their own ways, I'd be completely fine with that, especially with another thing with Kenny, which we hear down the line, which those matches, like All In, Kenny had a match with Pentagon and it was incredible. Which was like AEW. It was like their first show that they had to like all that sold out by themselves with like hardly any promotion and stuff like that, which was great. And it started this whole like all elite wrestling thing. So that's really cool to think about down the line here with Pentagon and Phoenix. Eddie Kingston's that was a great promo again. I mean, you can't really get much better than that.
He's always been giving out good promos as soon as he's been on Dynamite.
Another quick plug. Jericho, it's Chris Jericho's podcast. He had Eddie Kingston on the other day, and it was pretty good. If you have any time, check that out.
So next in the show, we have Matt Hardy comes out to talk after all the events that are happening since All Out.
Yeah. I don't know. Do you want to talk about, because we didn't really get to talk about, like we talked about our initial reactions, but like the fallout. I don't know.
I feel like I've been able to like think about this a bit more since the all the everything happened, because I think in the moment we were kind of really like taken back by everything.
Yeah. So do you want to go first and then?
So basically, since the ending of All Out, basically he went to the hospital, and this is where things kind of got a little weird, because this is where they started talking about Matt Hardy's okay, but he doesn't have any internal head injuries or anything like that. And also there was some things saying that like Tony Khan had the power to stop the match, but then the referee said like that he was okay, and then the match continued. In my opinion, I think that's kind of weird. I feel like after thinking about it after a while, I'm kind of starting to think that maybe it would have been for the better if Tony Khan just kind of stepped up and said that the match should have ended. In the
Yeah,
grand scheme of things.
it's a whole like really, really bad situation and really difficult situation. In my opinion, Tony should have called the match. Just like I get it, the storyline, blah blah blah, but at some point, like all the fans were just caring at the health about his health at that point. I think everybody would have been fine if that match would have been ended. I mean, they could have said, "Oh, that doesn't count for Matt leaving AEW," and I think everybody would have been completely fine with that. But I think this was one of the first situations for Tony Khan where it was a live pay-per-view, like huge event, and I think he was. I mean, I couldn't imagine being in his position. Like we would say, "Oh, you should have just pulled
He's
the
an
plug."
amateur owner of a wrestling organization.
A major wrestling organization, and I think he was just caught up in the moment. I think he did the right thing as far as stop, because he stopped the match. He stopped it and
Yep.
got Matt checked on and all that stuff. Apparently, the doc
So it was
Tony and said he
okay,
was
and then
fine.
I guess the
So
doctors restarted the match. I don't know.
doc said that he cleared the concussion protocol, which I mean, from what I know, I don't think concussion things you can do it that fast. Like I think you can still have, like, if you don't pass the initial test, or if you pass it, like that doesn't mean you don't have a concussion. But apparently he didn't. So I'm thankful he
Yeah,
didn't. Thankfully
apparently.
he was fine.
Yeah, and I feel like in this promo that that Matt had tonight kind of reinforced the fact that they probably should have stopped the match, because it started, he was talking about his family and even waved back to some of his kids at home, and like uh his wife was there with his youngest, and it was kind of like they really should have just stopped that match.
Yeah, I'm sure, man, that Tony Oh, Tony's a great guy. I mean, if
Mm-hmm.
you don't, I mean, you can just
I
look him
understand it.
up. Like the
Yeah.
stuff, he's a great guy, great wrestling mind. Everybody loves him in that company, man. He's not, a terrible guy. Like it's not like he was just doing it.
I
He
feel like
didn't
the
care.
people who work for him definitely like respect him and like him.
Oh yeah,
That's
I mean, the knowledge he has of wrestling in general is incredible. And, I think this was a big learning lesson for him. One thing was they always do the media scrums after the big pay-per-views, and he kept talking. What if I was him? I would have said, "Look, Matt's in the hospital. I'll let you know when we hear more." But instead, he kind of, kept talking about it, which kind of made it look bad worse than it. He could have made it, because all he could have said was, "Matt's in the hospital. We'll say more in a press release," and then it wouldn't have been like he would have been on the spot, to say some
hmm
stuff. But
I think a press release would have been better than having to speak in the moment.
I mean, he could have spoke about the other stuff, but I feel like with that, it would have been just smart to just kind of give that answer and move on to the other stuff, because you don't want to say anything wrong or like not true, because then it could look even worse. But I think AW's out of the or whatever you want to say with this, but Matt Hardy came out, gave a great promo. The crowd interrupted him with a chant, which was the first time I've seen that since a pandemic, which kind of made me happy. Because that's a big part of wrestling, is when the crowds interrupt the wrestlers, whether they're heels or faces.
hmm
But this moment was, you could just tell how much people love Matt Hardy.
Yeah, because I know there's a large amount of friends, almost all fans pretty much enjoy Matt Hardy and love what he does. So it is a big thing for him.
And
They did
like
not.
real
As they
quick, just
did
like even
announce
like
them.
generic. All right, real quick, just to add it. I mean,
Mhm.
I mean, Matt Hardy. We all know how much of a legend he is. Like people who don't even watch wrestling anymore know who Matt Hardy is. So like,
Many people grew up
also
watching him,
like no
like I did.
one, no one wanted to see that happen to him, especially like not saying everybody, like it would have been fine if it was somebody else, but since it was Matt Hardy, like that hurt a lot of people.
hmm Like I say, it was like many people grew up watching him, like I did. So it kind of it touches people.
Yeah, I mean that was like it didn't even feel like wrestling was important at the time when that
Yeah,
thing happened. It was like just make sure
definitely.
he's okay, call the match if it's not.
So at the end of this, he basically says that he'll be taking time off until he's fully recovered.
Which is the right move, obviously. He needs to, just, I mean, it doesn't seem like he's clear to wrestle. I mean, as he shouldn't be, or as he should be. I don't know how to word that right, but he should take some time off and, just think about what he wants to do now with his wrestling career. Because I doubt we're going to see many more of those types of matches in his career anymore.
Maybe some, but like not with
those spots.
Not
Maybe
with those
like
spots,
a table,
yes.
like off a normal height.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. I can see that. Just nothing too crazy like they did prior.
For sure.
So next on the show we have Angelico versus Orange Cassidy.
And again, I mean, I've said this on the podcast how many times I wanted these people on my TV, and they gave it to me.
That's true. When they said they announced that this was going to be a match on the night, I was happy to know that Angelico and Jack Evans would appear on the main Dynamite.
They're incredible, underrated talents. I mean, a lot of people, like the hardcore wrestling fans, know who these guys are, but a lot of people probably don't know too much of them. But if you give them any time, like tonight I was kind of disappointed with what happened tonight. I feel like he got squashed a little bit. Maybe not, maybe a bit, but
I mean, I appreciate that the match is a lot faster paced than what Orange Cassidy's been wrestling with, like Chris Jericho.
This is the Orange Cassidy I know and love. Like this was the stuff that I miss so much. And we talked about it. Like I was tired of it being serious Orange Cassidy because that's not really what gets him over. Like obviously.
I mean, there was some of that, but like also it was like like they were doing fast paced, fun kind of stuff.
And this, I don't know where they go with Orange Cassidy from here. Well, I mean, I guess he has stuff with Proud and Powerful, which we'll get into here. But
that's what seems like where they're going.
It's pretty much a squash match, but I just hope I can keep seeing these guys on my TV, and Angelico and Jack Evans.
They need a tag team match on Dynamite.
I hope they could pick up a win. I don't know who they would beat, but
maybe it was like John Silver and Reynolds.
Oh, come on, not John.
I don't know, man. I'm sorry, but it's just like I don't know who else to go against. Maybe.
Come on.
I don't know who else they would go against to pick up an easy win for them at least once.
Just maybe not my guy John. Not my guy John Silver. Don't.
I don't know. Maybe they'll go against Jobber Talent on thing. I don't know. Either that or maybe like Butcher and Blade. I don't know. Idea.
Oh, I think they already faced SCU, honestly, but maybe not.
I don't think they have actually. They might have done that really early on in Dynamite, but I don't think they have gone against them anytime recently.
Just need a quick win and then start building them up a little bit. They don't have to go straight for the titles, but I would love to see them on my TV more in storylines. I get it, they're in the pandemic and all that, and they come over, but now they're here, so let's use them.
So next we cut to the back with Alex Marvez, who's trying to get an interview with the Young Bucks, but ends up getting super kicked instead.
That was my favorite Alex Marvez interview ever. He sat there and knocked the door and was like, guys, they're not answering. And then he kept knocking the door like over and over and over again. It was just,
and they just open the doors, super kick him, and then they just kind of walk back in and close the door.
Which is great. Again, this is all pointing towards heel Young Bucks, unless it's another swerve where they're not going to be heels, but it looks like they're going to be heels.
Yeah.
Already.
Because I was like, faces don't do that, so clearly they have to be heading in the heel direction. That's what it just feels like. So next on the show is where everyone was talking about. We have Kip Sabian announcing his best man, which at first they said they gestured to the back to see who's coming this. And at first it's this like big guy. I don't even know who he was.
Apparently a Twitch subscriber of one of his fans. One of the fans, I guess.
I guess, yeah. Just some big dude.
Some big guy. Like, yo, I'm so happy to be your best man. And then he's like, you just take up room. Just get out of here. I said you're a subscribe. You're the man for subscribing. Not you're the best man or whatever.
And then next was, I think, Brian Pillman Jr. was who came out next after that.
He was like, yeah, he was like, yeah, I got the text. I was happy to be your best man. And he was like, I don't even like you. And then he was like, I said, you're the best, comma, man. You're
The
the best
best,
man.
comma, man.
Like, you're the best man. Not like you're the best man.
That's great.
Yeah.
But honestly, if that's who it was, without who it turned out to be, I would have been completely fine if it was Brian Pillman
No,
Jr.
I love Brian Pillman, but who it turned out to be is so much better.
Yes, because who it really turned out to be is Miro.
It was great. I mean, they said, I heard Miro, like, I think, well, so when he came out of the tunnel, it was like the back of him and he was blonde. It was a blonde guy. I was like, is this a big butcher? Like a big, butcher from Butcher and the Blade.
Yeah, I
'Cause they
did
kind
not
of the
know
same.
I did not know he's changed his hair to blonde.
Like the long, dark, darker hair, like Buzz dark, but it was blonde. Really shook me a little bit. And then came out, crowd was going wild. I've not heard a crowd pop that loud since pre-pandemic. Like once
Yeah,
again,
that
crowd was
crowd
hot.
was incredibly hyped to see Miro there, but I mean,
Yeah, and
we
they
all
were
kind of
chanting
were
Miro
hyped.
Day.
That's
So very,
fantastic. I did not know that, but yeah, I feel like everyone was just wanted to see this happen, and it did.
because they were chanting Miro Day. He's like, first thing you could hear him say was, he's like, that's got a nice ring to it. Which is great. And then obviously, did you write down what he said in the promo at all?
He basically just said that like he is the best man, and he's all elite.
Yeah, and I think this is honestly the perfect way to debut him, because it's a way to debut a wrestler that's not going straight to the title. You can have him be a mid card kind of guy to start off and build his way up. And
Yeah,
he's not even wrestling for a belt at the moment, so
because he's
I,
still early into his career.
and then once he said Rusev is all elite, like I got chills, or Rusev is elite, or whatever he said. And then I saw the
He said
graphic.
Miro is
Yeah,
all.
whatever. I gotta get used to that, just like Brodie Lee, with Luke Harper, obviously. But
Yeah.
kind of mad, dude. There's so many good matches that he could have, like Brian Cage, Lance Archer, big guys. Blanking on
And you can see what he can do with some of the other guys as well. Yeah, probably like some good with
Wardlow.
MJF. Maybe Wardlow could be pretty
Wardlow would be
good.
great. There's so many opportunities for this guy, and again, Rusev never really got the mic time in WWE. So Miro never got the mic time, so it's gonna be great. I mean, we saw what he even said in this quick amount of time here. I
You might
can't
point out how
imagine.
he beats everybody on video games online.
Yeah, he does.
He does. Yeah, he does have a pretty strong, like, I guess, Twitch following.
And that's when Kip was like plugging his Twitch, I was like, wait, doesn't Miro have a Twitch? And then that kind of was like, oh, it has to. I mean, I didn't know who else it could be at the time.
It kind of makes sense, yeah, that it would be Miro because there would be like Twitch buddies.
But it's great. I mean, this is honestly so great for Kip too, because it gets Kip some attention, and I think a lot of people are gonna like Kip Sabian at the end of the day, like after this is all said and done.
Hmm. So after this, we have an interview with Hangman, talking about how he is, because he says, first Tony asks him, well, how do you feel after losing the tag titles? And he says he feels all right. But then he prods him and says, no, he don't wants the wrestler answer. He wants was like the true answer.
Yeah, that man. Anytime I hear Hangman speak now, it's just so sad. Like we talked about it last week, how it's crazy how bad we feel for this guy.
Hmm.
It just continued tonight. Like you could
This
tell,
was
like
I did really feel bad for him in this promo. This was a very like just sad promo that he gives.
because think about it. I didn't even really think about it this way, but if he didn't hold the Bucks' legs, they would have faced the Bucks instead of FTR, and it means FTR wouldn't be the champs right now, and maybe they would still be the champs.
Mm.
But if
And
they
he
beat
even
the
talks
Bucks,
about his like he even brought up the fact that everyone thought that FTR winning was inevitable, which we even talked about.
Yeah, man, it's just so sad. I really like the interviews they did with him and Kenny later on.
Mm-hmm.
It was just really cool to see both characters talk about like what happened.
Yeah, because like I wrote down my notes that he sounds like someone who's just generally depressed. Like that's the best way to put it. Almost like he just talks about like how he's just kind of like how he feels that he's just like he talks about being like just blood and bone in me. It was just like he says like he knows it was his fault, but he thinks that him and Omega could get through this.
Well, it doesn't seem like that is going to happen, but
That's what it doesn't seem like it either.
yeah, I mean, this is just setting up for a huge babyface run for Hangman Adam Page, which is great.
Mm-hmm.
This is the best role for him.
So after this, we have Chris Jericho and Jake Hagar going against Joey Janela and Sonny Kiss in a no DQ match.
So, what did you think about this match before I say
I mean, I
anything?
thought this was pretty fun.
I thought it was pretty good, honestly. I think Sonny Kiss looked really good.
Oh yeah,
Joey Janela.
Oh yeah, Sonny Kiss looked really good in this match. This was probably Sonny's best match on Dynamite.
There's a lot of cool stuff here with Chris, and Hager honestly looked pretty good too. I'm not gonna lie. Hager was one of the best matches I've seen him in AEW, but I'm trying to think of some cool spots. I mean, obviously the Hager slam into the table.
Yeah,
Janela.
taking Janela into the table. There was that one
Fire
spot early
extinguisher.
where Jericho back body drops Janela onto a chair, but it only got to the legs, so he just took the legs of the chair into Janela's back.
It had to hurt, man.
Yeah.
Janela is so like immune to pain that I feel like it didn't hurt for him, but
Him and Darby, I can just feel like they can just take bumps.
and Sammy too.
Yeah.
I
Those
mean,
three guys could just take any bump just for
I need to see a
the
triple
sake
threat
of it.
between them. Like first a bump, or something.
Just in a no DQ match, the three
No
of them
bump,
just
no bump match.
no crazy bump match where they look like they die in the end of it. Um, yeah, so probably after this they have Janelle throws Jericho into a propped up chair into the turnbuckles, runs head first into the chair. And the match ends where Jericho blows a fire extinguisher in Sonny's face, and Hager hits a Uranagi to win the match.
I mean, pretty much. I mean, then Jericho kind of cut that promo.
Yeah, he talks about basically he still smells like a rotten orange, and he basically says that him and Hager are gonna try to be a tag team and take a shot for the tag titles.
So, in my opinion, okay, cool, but I don't want to see a title match for them at all, ever. Like, I think that could be a great. Like, it's good TV, I think they're good TV together, but I think Sammy's better with him than Jake Hager.
That is true. I think the Sammy and
That's
Jericho's dynamic is pretty good, a lot better than probably him and Hager.
I just think, have some good quality matches on TV with them, but have them come up short. But I don't want them to have a title match at all.
I think it is a good idea to have Jericho try to be a tag team guy for a little bit.
You don't have to, again, you don't have to have him win. I mean, he can
Yeah.
take losses anytime in his career now without it being like a squash match kind of loss.
Yeah, he had his world title reign.
He's fine, dude. He's chilling. He can do whatever he wants now.
Yeah, but I feel like him going to a tag team route would be a good way to go after coming off of him losing to Orange Cassidy like twice. I feel like it would be a different direction from the go.
He could build some of these younger guys up too in the tag division. He could help them.
Hmm. But yeah, I do still think that him and Sammy would probably be a better team in general because they've already shown in the past that they are a good team.
Yeah.
So up next we have a promo from MJF with his campaign team.
This is great stuff.
Oh yeah.
I mean, he just kind of went out and just started going off on everybody.
He points out how Moxley he used an illegal move like a coward, but he blames this whole thing on his campaign, and he fires his campaign team. And then he starts going into Wardlow, calling him illiterate and all this. But once the second that Wardlow looks like he's going to try to say something back, MJF reminds him that apparently that like, he signs his checks. So
yeah, not Tony Khan, which is interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, which obviously they're teasing for the Wardlow to screw him over at some point.
Oh yeah, like I know that this face turn for Wardlow is coming soon. Totally.
Man, he's a good baby face that they could use too. Because again, they don't have many baby faces, especially with what we think is going to happen with the Elite, Cody. I think Wardlow would be a great big man baby face.
I think I have an idea for probably when this might happen. I think it could potentially happen at that anniversary show that they announced in the tonight.
I think they can't. Wait, yeah, so that's before Full Gear. Yeah, I don't think that.
I don't think it'll
It
wait till
shouldn't
Full
take too
Gear for
long.
the face turn.
I think it should happen sooner rather than later because I don't know what else you could do with these guys.
Yeah, that's true. So this gets then followed up with a promo from Moxley, where basically the second he saw that that Lance Archer is going to be the number one contender, he just thought, son of a, and but he feels unstoppable, and he only sees Lance Archer as a man.
I mean, again, classic Mox. Just
Going
great,
from
great stuff.
from being like serious to being lighthearted to back to being serious again.
Did we skip over the Lance Archer thing?
Oh yeah, I think though I did kind of miss a little part of the show today.
I mean, it was just like classic Jake, saying it's gonna it's coming to your title run's coming to an end, et cetera, et cetera. It was good stuff. I mean, I don't remember exactly what was said, but it was stuff like that. They were outside in front of a
Everybody
wall that had
dies and all
spray
that
paint.
stuff.
Yeah, and everybody dies, blah blah blah. But no, it was great stuff. And then Mox followed up with that, with even more great stuff. So this feud's just getting started. I can't even imagine the stuff that Mox and Lance are gonna do in this in that match that's coming up. For anybody who hasn't seen them wrestle in Japan, look up their Texas death match on YouTube.
Yeah, you can probably find that somewhere.
Easily.
I kind of want to look it up soon. But up next after this, we have the FTR celebration, where basically, long story short, is basically they talk about how Tully puts them over as the best team in the world. He talks about how they even though they are undefeated, they had to fight for everything, and then they start pointing out some of the teams that they beat, and while giving out backhanded compliments to those teams. Like the SCU, he was like, "Oh, you guys are great, and we looked up to you guys, but man, they would have been way different if you guys were actually in your prime."
They were just taking shots at everybody. It was kind of a little slow, like not slow, but it just felt off.
It was a little slow, yeah. It felt like it just kind of, especially after they called out Jurassic Express, it took a little bit for them to get into the ring.
Yeah, they kind of did the cocky heel stuff where they, tease like they're gonna beat it, like start fighting, and then they get out of the ring. It just seemed like it went a little long. Like I don't know, it just felt like everybody was waiting around for the ice spot, and then
yeah, there was that weird thing where after FTR got sent to the outside, there was just like this pause for like a minute, and for I don't know how long it took for Jurassic Express to get the ice box to dump it on them.
it was I don't know, but Marco was having a great time with that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then
Also you hear
Jake.
from where they're talking to Billy Gunn on the outside. They're just like, Even though they got put in some second-rate Hall of Fame, I was like, oof.
Yeah. Man. Yeah, they were just like, I don't care who you are, but we're gonna roast you pretty much. And then like Luther was out there. I was like, why is Luther out there?
He was with
But
Serpentico.
I know, but I was just like, why are they even like? I get it, they're a tag team, but like, come on now. You could have had somebody else out there.
I mean, you want to have the Young Bucks out there because they're kind of, they're in a problem right
Good
now.
job.
Though I saw, for some reason, out of this whole lineup of tag teams, Silver and Reynolds were on like the entranceway, and
Every
they just.
time, yeah.
I'm sorry. Every time they're on screen, I just my eyes immediately go to them whenever they're out there.
Every time I see Silver, I just die of laughter. It's just, I don't know. It's just
He
how
gives
it
off
is.
a certain vibe where he's out there and you just immediately pay attention to whatever he's doing.
I heard somebody say he looks like a Fall Guys character, if you know what Fall Guys is. But
He he always just kind of looks like he's just happy to be there whenever he's on TV.
he has a crazy build though. He's like huge, but he's like short. Looks kind of funny. He's jacked.
Mm. But they were like on the entranceway, so if like they always just stood out the entire time when FTR was giving that promo.
I was like, why are? Because that was the first thing I saw, and I was like, why are they just sitting here for the FTR? And then I saw all the other teams, and I was like, oh, it's like a party kind of thing.
Yeah, that's what I thought. At first, I just saw Silver and Reynolds. I was like, oh, why are they out there? And then I saw everybody else, and I was like, oh, okay.
Oh shoot, are they gonna get a title shot? But no.
They're a pretty good tag team, though.
Oh yeah, if you saw
Maybe
the pre-show
eventually.
match, oh my god.
So up next,
It
they
was-
have a segment where because Taz is out there on commentary for a little bit, and he has this thing where he's like, "Oh, I hear a call from someone. It's Darby Allin's here," and then Darby Allin's music starts playing, and of course it's fake Darby Allin with Ricky Starks.
And
Where he's
Ricky
like,
Starks.
he
Oh
does he
man.
does these impersonations pretty good, Darby Allin.
Can't go skateboard with my friends because he
And he's
had
like, I
thumbtacks.
dislocated my pinky, so I can't, and with thumbtacks, now I can't go with my skateboard friends.
It was he's a star in the making. Like he's good. He's incredible. I don't know. He's great in the ring. He's great on the mic. He is a character, like a cool character, charisma.
Mm.
Just feels like he's different than something like the roster. You can
Mm.
tell like he's just special. And whenever they have this match with Darby, it's going to be incredible. I just
Yeah,
have a feeling this
they
match is
point.
going to be.
They point out this promo where he's basically saying this, like, is he like he brings up the fact that his nickname for him is Relentless, but he brings up maybe he's just reckless, and that next time he sees him, he's gonna relentlessly beat him up.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure. I mean, I'd imagine Darby's going to get the win when that match
Yeah,
happens, but I mean, so
Darby
good. I
hasn't
think.
gotten a win in a while.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of when like the last big one he had because he lost to Mox in that incredible title match the other couple before All Out.
I think it was like a
I mean,
tag team match
yeah, maybe it was a tag
when he
match.
was with Moxley, I think.
Yeah, that probably was it. Oh yeah, because it was against Ricky and Brian Cage. Yep, because he did the thumbtack spot on the back.
Yeah, yes, yeah, that was the match. So up next on the show we have Tay Conti versus Nyla Rose.
Women's division talk once again on this podcast. I didn't
I
hate the
did,
match honestly.
yeah, I didn't hate the match either. It was good to see some of these women get on airtime again.
Tay Conti was announced that she's officially signed with AEW earlier today, so that's great to hear. In addition to the women's division, anything's pretty much a good thing at this point with this division.
Hmm.
Hopefully, they can get Thunder Rosa at some point because she's wrestling again.
Yeah,
We'll learn
that's the
here,
good
but
news.
I hope she can like really be involved with this division more because they could
Yep.
use her so much.
So of course Nyla Rose gets the win in this match with the Beast Bomb, and then afterwards she tries to go beat up Tay some more, but Hikaru Shida comes in to break it up.
And it looks like they're going for round 2 of this feud. This It's fine.
like
I
it's
mean,
fine.
it's probably two of your best wrestlers, so like you can't. I mean, it's you can't really get any better than that, honestly,
Yeah.
right now. It's
And they're gonna have Vicky there to make it a little bit different than how it was last time.
yeah, she's gonna be a big factor. I don't think Rashida loses to. I mean, this is obviously a discussion for down the road, but I don't know what you do here with this belt.
Yeah. Then also I don't know why they call them like the Vicious Vixens now, like as a group.
Yeah, I don't know. I honestly don't
That
know,
would make
man.
more sense if they had if they were like a tag team, but not a
Vicky Guerrero.
manager wrestler relationship getting a nickname. That's kind of weird to me.
I don't mind Vicky, but I just don't think Nyla needs a manager. Like, if anything, Sheeta needs a manager because I mean that could be her mouthpiece. You know, Sheeta can't talk much
Yeah,
English yet.
she has some she's pretty good on like speaking
It's
some
pretty good.
English, but of course, when you're still learning, it's always kind of tough. So that's just how it is sometimes.
If they put a manager on her instead of Nyla, I think it would have been a lot better.
Yeah,
I feel
actually,
like
yeah, it probably would have been in the grand scheme of things. Yeah,
she's just so limited right now because she can't cut those long promos or like she can't
like what everybody else can do all the time.
she can't do a lot, which is why I think she's not on TV as much because I mean, sure, they could probably throw her in some matches, but
I think they really
promos
should just have a match with her next week.
should honestly. But it sounds, I mean, again, like your theory with um, what's it called? What was it your theory with the MJF breakup? I think this match is probably going to happen at the anniversary show. My
Yeah, I
opinion.
think so too. Because I don't think they're gonna wait on this feud for full gear. It would have to be at the anniversary show. So after this match, we have we have JR interviewing Kenny Omega.
And JR was also in some heat per usual. Especially after All Out. I don't know if you heard about that, but he had
Yeah,
a
I
little
heard about that whole thing. It was just kind of weird and kind of gross.
yeah, and then he replied on Twitter like during the show and kind of just made it worse. So like
It was
my
like he said,
opinion
it was trying to be like a apology thing, but also it kind of wasn't an apology.
kind of like grow like Mitch be like I don't know. They were kind of he was just kind of telling him to like stop being so soft, like like whatever. But it's like
It was a non-apology. Best way to sum it up.
it just stinks because if this was anybody else, I think it would be off the table by now because it's
Mm,
JR. Like I just think you
one
can't
of the
really.
voices of the show.
I mean, you could do a table with Tony, Taz, Caliber, and you'd be fine. It's just JR is perfect in the roles here.
Oh
Kenny,
yeah, yeah. Like
it's his thing that
this
I
segment
think
was
he's
good.
good at now, but I just don't think doesn't seems like he doesn't even care about the product. He buries talent, like he doesn't like the new style of wrestling. So like it just seems like he's always burying talent. Uh, Anyways,
Hmm.
great interview for Kenny here. Great stuff.
Yeah. So on this interview, he basically kind of he has like this sort of like demeanor to him where he's kind of like you could tell like there's something else in the back of his mind while he was giving this promo. That's just how
You
from like a
could,
character
yeah.
standpoint. Because he says like, oh well, we all go through this as competitors. I was a champion, but now I'm not. And that's kind of the moment where I was like, well, there's something else going at him right now. Uh, he says that like he for a second he almost that tag team wrestling was what he was meant to do besides being singles.
And he addressed obviously the big thing about the singles, which is like everyone was like, "Oh, why aren't they? They're ruining Kenny Omega." They are not ruining Kenny Omega. We talked about this also. It's like Kenny Omega is in one of the biggest storylines in all of wrestling right now. Like, how is he being buried? Like, and I mean, he still had some great matches with these belts. I mean, I think it was fine what they did. What do you think with that?
Hmm. Have they've been doing like overall the entire time they've held the belts has been great.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's been bad at all. Like really, I mean, I think maybe they held it a little too long, but obviously the pandemic probably played a huge role in that.
Yeah, they definitely played a big role into that. Pretty much everything else.
It's fine. We just gotta accept that. People gotta accept that too. Um, yeah, Kenny. I mean, I don't know if anybody followed him on Instagram, but I sent you the picture. But he took a picture or a screenshot of the Mr. Clean, did it with no caption. Because that's the cleaner. I mean, that's just what
Mhm.
heel gimmick. So I cannot wait when he officially snaps into this kind of. And I think again, you think the tag matches are good. Wait till he has singles matches.
Yeah, it would be great.
Yeah, it's gonna be incredible. You can only imagine if they do a feud with Kenny and Hangman, that match is gonna be incredible whenever that happens.
Yeah, and we have at one point he says that with his time being a tag team partner with Hangman, they got to know a lot of each other, but also he says he learned a part of Hangman that he doesn't like, and he ends over basically saying that he has his own goals, and he would like to get back to singles action. Which, thank you.
I mean, again, it's not like a thank you for not being a tag wrestler anymore. It's more just like this, what we've
It
been
was
waiting
good to
for.
see them be a really good tag team for that long, but I feel like it's time to get back to
It's best.
back to some of his even but back to how it usually was. That's some of his best work.
I'm just waiting because I want to know when they're gonna flip this switch because I don't know how much longer they can do this for, but it seems like they can just keep doing this and keeping us entertained. So
Yeah. Also, I just have this
those
feeling of I've been missing singles matches with Kenny Omega in them. That's what I've been missing.
dude,
I just
recently I've been rewatching AEW with crowds because it's obviously just nostalgia. But now at this point, but I watched his match with Pac, the 2 out of 3 falls. That match was crazy. If you remember that, they had the table spot with Pac. He did the whatever that move is called, the Black Arrow. He
oh
did
yeah, the
that
Black
through a
Arrow.
table outside, and then oh man, and the Bucks were out there. It was right before. I don't know. It was incredible. It was insane.
That was before he would go against Moxley in that no DQ match.
I think so.
I'm pretty sure that was before that because it was when they were having that mini feud with Pac.
He had 2 great matches on Dark with Jack Evans and Joey Janela as well. Dude, he can go. Everybody knows that. There's so many opportunities for this guy to wrestle. Dude, another one, Miro. Him and Miro, I think, could have a crazy match if they ever had
Oh yeah,
they would wrestle.
and it would have a lot of involvement from the crowd as well.
Oh, it's gonna be crazy, man.
That's
Whenever
what
he
it's like.
got pulled.
I just missed having Kenny Omega singles matches. That I just was kind of yeah, this whole tag team run's been amazing, but I just want to get back to singles matches with Kenny Omega, man. I just been missing that.
It's gonna be crazy because it's gonna be the first time on American TV that he does this. No one, I don't think anybody's gonna be ready for this run whenever he does. Dude,
He turns
it's gonna
heel.
be the first time for no one's gonna have a run like he will on American television yet, in my opinion.
Hasn't been heel on American television.
Nope. No one's
So it'll be
seen Kenny
interesting.
on TV like this.
hmm So after this, we have they started making announcements for the next show, which and also they announced that October 14th will be the AEW anniversary show where Moxley's going to face Archer.
I mean, as we talked about, it'll be a great match. We obviously still have a lot to build onto that.
Yeah.
But I can't wait, man. I don't think. I mean, do you think Mox loses though? I don't know.
I don't think so. I don't believe so.
But I just don't think you can have Lance lose twice, in 2 big matches like that.
That is a good point because he hasn't had many high profile matches, and to have him lose a second high profile match would kind of make him look bad.
Again, I wouldn't mind Kenny and Mox part 2. So,
Yeah. This is I just have this feeling that if like there's always a feeling back in my mind you would always want to do a big title change, like have Moxley lose, be on a pay-per-view. So that's just the feeling that I have. But yeah, I don't know.
I don't know what they do, man. It's gonna be interesting because I think they could put it on Lance.
Yeah, it was just said like you have two. Because if you would lose, you would have lost his second high-profile match.
Because if you really think about it, sure, he beat all those guys to get to the title for Cody, but then he lost that. He won the Casino Battle Royale, which is great. But I mean, he hasn't really had a huge singles win at all.
He hasn't really
I
won a
guess
feud
Janela,
yet.
but Janela was just kind of like thrown together last second.
Oh yeah. Like he
That was a
hasn't
good match.
had a feud yet where he like a genuine feud where he's won.
Yeah,
Which
it's
is
tough.
Yeah.
Tough.
So they also announced for the next show, which they said there's gonna be it might be on Wednesday next week. We're not too sure yet, but depending on the NBA schedule. They have the Best Friends versus Santana and Ortiz in a parking lot fight.
This is like the third parking lot fight I think Best Friends have tried to do since the pandemic because they were gonna try and do one with Lucha Bros like the very first show, and then that got canceled. And I think they were gonna try and do another
That was
one.
for like Blood and Guts, I'm pretty sure. Was
Hopefully
it?
this one, I think, because I think it was supposed to be the same night as Blood and Guts. It was just gonna be another match.
Yeah. So we have also announced you have FTR is going into Jurassic Express, where if Jurassic Express wins, they'll get a challenge for the tag titles.
I don't know who wins that.
I don't know. I really don't know.
I mean, FTR's not losing the belt, so like if they win the first time, they're not losing. They're not winning again. They could just lose the first time.
So that's gonna go. But in the women's division, they announced Thunder Rosa is going into Evil East.
I mean, great. Put some women on the TV. Thunder Rosa's great.
Evil East is pretty good. I believe it should be a good match on the paper.
It should be fine. I don't know. I don't really know much else to say. I just hope Sheeta is on the TV more because she's the champion. But
yeah, that's true. I hope that she has some sort of a match next week. But knowing what they've been doing recently, probably not.
Just like every other champion is on the TV every single week.
Except for Sheeta.
Promo, whatever. But Sheeta has not done that. Sheeta's been on and off, on and off. It's like she's your champion. Treat her like one.
That's what I said. They really hope she gets put on next week's show. Probably not, though. Just we have Hangman going against Frankie Kazarian.
Which I'm guessing this is just going to be a Hangman beatdown, taking out his anger on SCU.
Yeah, I believe. Hangman Adam Page is going to win this match, definitely.
Saying they're going to do it next week, but this could be when the Young Bucks really turn heel on Hangman.
Maybe. I think the Young Bucks will show up in some capacity. Probably after the match.
Kenny maybe too.
Maybe, yeah.
I hope they just stay as a group, obviously, which I think they will, but just go heel, and then great group right there at heels.
Mm-hmm. We have MJF is going to get a match next week.
And I mean,
MJF has to win, of course.
Yeah, it's gonna be whenever they say that, it's gonna be a squash. Wardlow's probably gonna be involved a little bit,
There'll probably be some. MJF is probably gonna do some jaw jacking of Wardlow at times in this match.
Yeah, I think every show Wardlow's like tension is gonna, or like his anger that he wants to take out on him it's gonna keep building.
Mm-hmm. So this then leads to the TNT title match, Mr. Brodie Lee versus Dustin Rhodes.
And honestly, if you listen to last week's pod, I did not really care for this match at all, but this match actually surprised me a lot.
I thought this was a pretty good match. I think this must have been one of Dustin's probably best match on Dynamite.
In a while. I mean, Obviously, his match with Cody was incredible, but I think this is one of
That
his
was on
best matches.
pay-per-view though.
On
Was it
I'm
on?
trying to think of his own singles matches, like probably one of his better ones in the past few years.
I'm talking about with like the televised Dynamite shows.
Yeah, thought this was pretty good from him.
Hmm.
He looked good. I mean, he kept up with Brodie, which was surprising to me.
Yeah, we had also note that John Silver came out with Brodie Lee to hold the title.
Yeah, that was great, man. Again, when we see John Silver, it's just we can't stop not the laughing. I mean, did you see BTE this week?
Yes, I did.
With Warlow was funny.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, we're just seeing him all happy and like just happy to be there. Like he's just like the perfect person for it. But he obviously played a little bit of a role in this match tonight.
Yeah. We had at one point when it was even before the match, because they did some brawling before the match starts, where they went to the outside. At one point, Dustin just kicked Silver out of the way, which I thought was funny.
Yeah, that was Silver sells stuff so good too for his character that he's supposed to be. But yeah, Brodie looked pissed off all day, the whole match.
He always looks like that. He's
Yeah,
always pissed off. It feels like.
yeah. I mean, he's always yelling at everybody, so even his own group. Um,
Hmm.
yeah, I mean, I'm trying just classic Dustin here,
Yeah,
Canadian
he was
Destroyer.
like he's trying different things. Like he hits a crossroads on Brodie Lee. Um, Dustin hits a pile driver after Silver just tries to distract Dustin at one point.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of any other.
Not much really.
They went
Um,
to the outside in the very beginning. Brodie was
yeah, it
supposed
was
to go
kind.
to the table.
Yeah, also like it was kind of what makes it different. That kind of made the match a little more evenly matched was just the fact that Dustin jumped Brodie before during the introductions, which kind of made Brodie get off this game a little bit.
And I mean, we all knew that Brodie was going to win because, again, like, he beat Cody in
Like,
3 minutes, 13 seconds, or it was something like 3 minutes. Like, there was no. I'm surprised I thought he should have just squashed Dustin. Like, honestly, I think that's what they should have done. I didn't mind this.
mm. And though of course Brodie Lee wins after he hit like two thrust kicks that made Dustin like rebound off the bottom rope, and then he hit the discus lariat to win the match. And then afterwards, they showed that QT was getting carried out to the ring by the Dark Order,
It's
and
great.
then they did the thing again where like Evil Uno was talking to Colt, just kind of like to distract him as Brodie low blows Dustin one more time for good measure with the rest of the Dark Order.
Brodie wanted Colt nowhere to be found either. He's still kind of mad at him, obviously, of what he did at the pay-per-view. Um, Evil Uno continues to be that kind of guide for Colt Cabana.
Yeah. So yeah, that was the show. I thought it was pretty
And
good.
like, oh my god, like JR was like, by God, we got an announcement from Cody at the after the show. And I was like,
Yes.
oh man, what's
It was
and
like
he's
who really I really don't care about that at all. It's yeah, it was kind of I almost would say it was like a bait and switch because it was just kind of like
yeah.
Cody being like, "Well, I'm injured, but I still got time for this reality show I'm hosting."
I thought it was gonna be like a heel Cody promo or something, but it wasn't.
Nope. I got a reality show. Come
Got
watch that.
baited.
It's also gonna be on TNT.
Yeah, I'm good. I'll just not do that. So
But
I
hey,
can
it's
just
got Snoop Dogg on it.
that's stay woke. But um
I that's whatever. I don't care about that. Like it's basically like America's Got Talent, but just
in a parking lot.
yeah. Um whatever. That thing is whatever. It's just a reality show.
Wonder how long Cody is gonna be off TV for.
I could think for maybe a while.
He tweeted out that picture of the bloody Nightmare logo, which I mean, obviously is a heel kind of bull.
Yeah.
I mean,
That
the thing is like Would Cody go heel too? Like, there's a lot of heel turns, but I
I
mean, I
don't
wouldn't
think
be
he'll
against
turn
it.
heel.
I don't
Though I
know.
think he's gonna be away for quite some time.
I think he should too. I mean, he doesn't even really need to be on the call. Like, I hate to say it, but I wouldn't really miss him either. Like, if he stays away, like, I wouldn't miss Cody that much.
I believe he will come back around time before Full
Here.
Gear. I think he'll be on maybe the Full Gear card.
If he doesn't have a match for Full Gear, I'd actually be surprised because, I mean, that was the first time last pay-per-view that Cody didn't have one on a pay-per-view. Cody's kind of been, like, on the TV this whole pandemic, the TNT title and all that stuff, so it'll be nice for Cody and for us to kind of get a little break from all of,
All of Cody's stories.
they have plenty of talent. We don't need to be doing this stuff,
I have to bank on Cody every time.
which is crazy to think about.
Yeah, it is pretty crazy to think about. It just shows how the talent that's on the roster.
They're stacked, and now with Miro, oh my gosh.
Yeah, like that in itself can be told a bunch of stories going forward. But
Just like FTR, the opportunities are
yeah,
endless.
but yeah,
Gosh.
I feel like if Cody's gonna return, it'll be sometime around Full Gear. It could be before or after. But
And
like,
I don't know who his opponent would be.
I don't know.
I don't
All I
think it'll
know,
be Lance.
all I
But,
know, it would lead to Cody winning, of course.
but yeah, for sure. Cody misses his pyro, I'm pretty sure too. So I wouldn't be surprised if he comes back soon. but no. But yeah, I thought it was a great show tonight. Honestly, I think it was one of the. I mean, for a aftermath of a pay-per-view kind of show, it was pretty good.
Yeah, it was a really good show to come after All Out. Definitely advance more and more stories that can go towards the next big show, which it seems like they're going to be trying to work towards that anniversary show first, and then kind of start building up for Full Gear.
Which I think is a good plan. I think it's good that they're doing these special kind of shows in between, so it's not like that long of a between a pay-per-view to another one.
Yeah, there's probably going to be some storyline that's going to be a longer build that will probably have a conclusion at Full Gear, but it's probably going to be like maybe one story being told.
One thing I pray that doesn't happen at Full Gear is that there's not like an 8-man tag thrown together.
I don't think that will happen.
Like the Dark Order, the match last pay-per-view. I just hope it's all like singles tags and, championship matches, like be a triple
No,
threat or something.
and there'll probably also be one of those like gimmick style matches for a number one contendership, kind of like the ladder match or the battle royal. I think that might happen as well.
Just hope there's no crazy tag matches, like 6-man kind of things. But other than that, it should be fun. I mean, I don't know when they're going to do Ricky Darby. If they could pull that, I think you could push that to Full Gear. That's a
Maybe
pay-per-view
because
quality
they've
match.
been kind of saying that Darby's injured, but I don't know how much of that is true or not. They
Always
could just
injured.
be selling the attack, kind of like how they were talked about, said that Sammy's also injured.
Yeah, Sammy's not injured. He's fine.
Like, totally not. And also, I don't think Darby's actually injured because he literally just came off of another injury last time. So I don't
Dude,
think.
it looked brutal. I watched Brian Cage posted a video from like a fan. He literally got dropped on his head. Dude, with that spot with the body bag, you couldn't see anything. Like he didn't know when he was gonna hit the ground. Like he couldn't prepare himself. So that looked brutal, man.
That's just Darby doing crazy things like how he normally does. So yeah, it was a good episode to come off of All Out. This will probably have to do it for this week's episode. My name is Shawn Long.
I'm Justin Bradley.
Make sure you stay tuned for whenever the next episode will come out.